Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be talking all about my most anticipated releases that are coming out in the spring months, and for the purpose of this video I'm counting that as releases coming out in April, May, and June. So for the beginning of the year I did most anticipated releases in January, February, and March, and I actually made two separate videos, one for most anticipated fantasy and one for most anticipated contemporary, and while I could have done that yet again, because there are a lot of books coming out, I decided I wanted to narrow it down more and combine it into one video. These are my most anticipated all of spring releases, so every genre that you can think of. I've got my sunflowers on to celebrate the upcoming season. They're not really in an order of most to least. I'm really excited for all of these, but I figured I got some of them out of the way in the beginning that I'm sure you know that I'm already most excited for. So the first book that I'm looking forward to is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This book comes out on May 1st, and it is the continuation of Feyre and Rhysand's story. It's going to be the last one that really centers on the two of them before she moves into a new story arc, and I don't even know how many new books that we're getting. I obviously love the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I am definitely eager to find out what is going to happen next, so I'm pretty excited. The next book on my list is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This one comes out on May 29th. I'm actually just going to fold that there back so that you can see the actual cover. This one comes out on May 29th, and this is the second book after Caraval. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It follows one of the main characters in the first book, but it's going to be told from a different perspective. It's not going to be told from Scarlett's perspective, and I am really looking forward to learning more in depth about this one character. I thought it was so exciting, and I really wanted more of them in the first book, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I don't want to say anything to spoil anything that happens in Caraval, because this is a sequel. It takes place afterwards, so if you haven't read Caraval yet, you should definitely do that, and then you'll be ready to read this one when it comes out in May. Next on my list is A Reaper in the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. This book comes out on June 12th, and this is the third book in the An Ember in the Ashes series. I really enjoyed the first book, but I really loved the second book even more because we got an added perspective of a character that I loved from the first book. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how things are going to play out in this third book, and it's been such a long wait between them. It was supposed to come out, I think, last year. This series has had a lot going on. So when it first came out, it was originally supposed to be a standalone. Then they announced that it was getting another book, and then they announced that it was going to be 4 books. I was really excited about that because I really enjoyed the first one a lot, but I really have just been waiting and waiting and waiting to get this third book, and it's finally, the date is almost upon us. We still have a little while because it's June, but I'm still just yes. I need you. I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know what's going to happen to these characters. The next book on my list is Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This is a standalone fantasy novel, and it is all about Vikings, and it sounds very cool. It comes out on April 24th, and it follows a girl who saw her brother die 5 years ago and then happens to be on the battlefield and sees her brother fighting alongside the enemy. And yeah, that sounds really good. I love fantasy novels, and to get a full story in one book without having to wait years between sequels is something that I really appreciate. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. And it also says that it's part Wonder Woman, part Vikings, which is pretty cool because it's going to be full of really strong, amazing women. And yeah, I've just been anticipating this one since I first heard about it. Next on my list is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This one comes out on May 22nd, and I have also been really looking forward to reading this one ever since I first heard about it. I think it sounds like such a clever way for a story to be told. There are two different perspectives. There's the Sun Queen and there's the Blood Queen, and I think the Sun Queen is going to save this kingdom, and the Blood Queen is trying to destroy this kingdom. Your reading experience will change based on how you read it, and it's two different timelines, so I don't know if you find out at the end which timeline takes place when, but depending on how you read it, either the Blood Queen is taken over or the Sun Queen is prevailing and saving things. And it's the first book in a series, and it sounds like it's going to be really exciting, and I just, like I said, I feel like it's such an inventive way for a story to be told, and it's cool to have the choice of how you want to read it. Next on my list is Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This is one that I've talked about a couple times in recent videos because I'm planning on reading it this month, and I'm really excited to do so. I love that it has a comparison to Mean Girls. I think the whole premise of it sounds really interesting. It's a girl who is dead and the police believe that it's a suicide, but her best friend doesn't believe so. So she brings her and this other group of girls who also died at the same time back to life. And then they have a very limited amount of time. They have like 7 days to try to figure out who murdered them because they have no memory of who did it. And they have to try to figure it out before that killer tries to strike again. Just sounds like it's going to be so cool. Next on my list is Ashe Princess. This one comes out on April 24th. And the reason that I'm looking forward to this one so much is because it kind of reminds me of the Winners trilogy in the sense that the main character is a princess and she is being held captive within her own kingdom because of something that happened. She wants to win back her kingdom, and in order to, she's not like a physically fit princess, like she's no Selena Sardathian that's gonna be going and like assassinating people. Her best tool is her mind, so she is using her cleverness in order to win back her kingdom. And I just love stories like that because I feel like they're way more relatable. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this princess can overcome her adversaries with the power of her mind. Next on my list is Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. This one comes out on April 3rd, so this is probably the earliest release that I have on this list. But I really loved Jen Bennett's other book, Alex Approximately. I thought it was really well written, and this is another contemporary story, but it seems like it's going to be a hate to love romance, and it follows two characters whose families are what she calls the modern day equivalents of the Montagues and the Capulets, but in LA version. So that already sounds really exciting. And the two of them go on this field trip for school, but they end up getting lost in the woods and they have to spend the night together. And it just sounds like it's going to be really cute. And I know a couple of people who have already read it and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to getting to it. Next on my list is Only Human by Sylvain Neuvel. This book comes out on May 1st and I'm so excited to read it. This is the conclusion to the Themis Files, and I really enjoyed the first book. I loved the second book so much, and I just need to know where the story is gonna go. Essentially what happens in the first book is that this girl is wandering in the woods and she finds a giant metallic hand, and then she spends the rest of her life trying to figure out where it came from and what it is and what its purpose is. And it's all told through case files and interviews and letters and news clippings, and it's fascinating. There's a fascinating cast of characters. There was so much that changed in the second book. So I am worried about what's gonna happen in this third book, but I can't wait to read it. The next book on my list is 9 Days and 9 Nights by Katie Cotugno. This is the sequel to 99 Days, which I really enjoyed, and I really want to find out what's gonna happen next with these characters. It's shorter than I was expecting, which means that I'm gonna read it really quick. Oh, I just saw Morgan Matson's name on the back and I was like, huh? It says that it's perfect for fans of Stephanie Perkins, Sarah Dessen, and Morgan Matson. I think Katie Cotugno writes really good contemporaries. They're all very complicated and messy. Some people have issues with them because of how messy they are, but I feel like they're very realistic. I mean, these are situations that some people find themselves in, so I appreciate that they are told, and I think Katie does a great job of doing them. I love her writing. Next on my list is Leah on the Offbeat, which comes out on April 24th, and this one is actually like a direct sequel to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. It's not following Simon, it's following Leah, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to getting more of those characters and just being back in that world of Simon. I think Becky writes teenagers so well. I love how much diversity is in her stories, and I always just fly through them. I remember Simon was one of the most enjoyable books that I've ever read, and then I also really enjoyed The Upside of Unrequited, so I am especially looking forward to reading this one. The next book I'm really looking forward to is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. This book sounds like it's going to be really complicated but really powerful. It follows a girl named Mara who is a twin, and her brother Owen are so close with one another. She has a friend named Hannah who accuses her twin brother Owen of rape, and Mara is caught between all of these conflicting feelings because she doesn't believe that her brother would be capable of doing anything like that, but she also doesn't believe that Hannah would lie about something like that. And it just sounds like it's going to be so poignant and so relevant in today's society. I would imagine that this book is going to be a tough read in the sense that it's going to touch upon some really serious issues, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. I think it's going to be really important. And this one comes out on May 15th. Next on my list, I'm kind of cheating because I'm just going to talk about both Star Wars books that are coming out. They announced 2 books that are being released in conjunction with the Han Solo movie. So the first book that's coming out is Last Shot, and it's a Han and Lando novel. I think that's going to be full of shenanigans, and I cannot wait to read that one. That's going to be so good. That one comes out on April 17th, and then there's another book that's coming out on May 25th, which is called Star Wars Most Wanted. It's going to follow Han, and I'm thinking her name is said Kira. It's like QI''RA. And it is a prequel. It's about them on the planet Corellia before the events of the Han Solo movie. So I'm really looking forward to it. And this one is written by Ray Carson, who wrote the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy, which I have not read, but I know that it is very much loved among BookTube. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Next, I'm really looking forward to Royals by Rachel Hawkins. This one comes out on May 1st, and it follows a girl whose like perfect older sister is almost engaged to the Crown Prince of Scotland, and she never really wanted to be living in like the limelight and having her life constantly like documented by the tabloids, but having a sister who is marrying royalty doesn't sound like she's going to have the opportunity to evade that kind of lifestyle. So she's forced to move across the pond, and then she starts getting kind of close to the prince's roguish younger brother named Miles, and it just sounds super cute. And then finally, the last book on my list, number 15, is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. This one comes out on May 29th, and it follows a girl who doesn't really love talking to other people, but her friend convinces her to join their school's podcast, and then she ends up getting chosen to be the host. So now she has to spend a lot of time answering phone calls and giving advice to people on the air. And she actually turns out to be pretty good at it. And then she gets a call from an anonymous caller asking for advice about his crush, and she thinks that she knows who it is, and she thinks that he is talking about her best friend. Then she starts to develop feelings for him, and it's Casey West, so I'm sure it's gonna be adorable, and I can't wait to read that one. So that is my list of like my 15 most anticipated books. There are still some other ones that I'm also like very much looking forward to, but these are the 15 that I'm most looking forward to that I haven't read yet, because I did read Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and that was really good, and that comes out in June. Also really looking forward to Nightblood by Ellie Blake, but I said 15, so stop, Kristen, no more. So these are the 15 that I'm most looking forward to in the upcoming season. Let me know if you're excited for any of these. Let me know if there are any other books that I haven't mentioned that you're looking forward to. I hope that you're having a good day. That's all that I have for this video, and I will see you soon in a new one. Bye!